Hello everyone and welcome to today's class. My name is Jack and I will be your English Town teacher for today. I am from South Africa. I like to travel, read books and spend time with my family and friends. Welcome Chon Fei and welcome Sohar. I hope that you are going to find the class and the topic of what's the weather like interesting. But before we start today's class, would you like to introduce yourself to me and tell me a little bit more about yourself, like for instance, where you come from, what work you do, and what hobbies you like doing. Chon Fei, would you like to introduce yourself to the class, please? All right, Chon Fei, it seems as though there is a problem with your network. Sahar, would you like to introduce yourself to me and tell me a little bit more about yourself, please? I just watched a documentary of Palestine the other day, Sahar, and I'm really fond of the people over there as well. All right, so Sahar, I am sitting here in Johannesburg, Pretoria, and I'm teaching you from Johannesburg in South Africa. All right, Johannesburg in South Africa, and we are really a country that has a very interesting history as well. And one thing that they can say is that there is a lot of wild animals over here. So if people want to see the African wildlife, like for instance to see giraffes and elephants and rhinoceros and a lot of gazelle and bucks and zebras, they actually come to South Africa and they have a lot of fun. Ivan, I see you have also entered today's class. Would you like to introduce yourself to us and tell us a little bit more about yourself, please? Ivan, I cannot hear you clearly. I have written a message in the chat pod for you. Please turn up the volume of your microphone so that we can hear you better. All right, Kevin, would you like to introduce yourself to the class and tell us a little bit more about yourself, please? Please, Anne, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about yourself, please? All right, so let's continue with today's class. All right, so the first one, do you believe weather forecasters? Do you believe weather forecasters when they give you the weather? Who would like to answer that question? Who would like to answer, class? What do you think, Ivan? All right, so Ivan listens to the weather forecasters, and he plans his day accordingly. Sahar, what do you think about weather forecasters? Thank you very much, Sahar. All right, so most of us, we believe the information that weather forecasters give us. All right, so most of us says yes. Say yes. And would you like to answer? What do you think of weather forecasters?
I think we can get much information from the weather forecasters, and I think I always believe them. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Anne. That was really a good answer. I liked what Anne said and the way she said it very well. Well done. That was good English language. All right, so do you know these words? All right, do you know these words? Degrees Fahrenheit, sunny, snowy, and degrees Celsius. All right, so put the words into groups and temperature, right? Kind of weather. All right, so first of all, degrees Fahrenheit. Degrees Fahrenheit. Is that temperature or is it kind of weather? Ivan, what do you think? Is degrees Fahrenheit temperature or kind of weather? Well done, thank you. Ivan, I'm once again going to ask you, please turn on or turn up the volume of your microphone. You can do that by clicking on the microphone, and if it appears green, you just click on the drop-down menu next to it, and you adjust your microphone over there, please. Anne, would you like to answer the second one? Sunny, is that a temperature or kind of weather?
And I think sunny is kind of weather. Thanks.
Thank you very much. So sunny is kind of weather. Well done. And then snowy, is that temperature or is it kind of weather? Saha, would you like to answer? Alright, so snowy is kind of weather. And in degrees Celsius, is that temperature or kind of weather? Who would like to answer this question? Please go ahead, Ivan. You are 100% correct. Thank you very much, Ivan. Alright, so let's have a look here. What's the temperature? It is 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Or what kind of weather do you like? I like sunny weather. Alright, so what's the temperature in your country at the moment, Anne?
And the temperature is now in my country, and maybe different parts of China will have different temperature. But now in my city, it's a little cold, and the temperature is 8 degrees Celsius, 8 degrees Celsius, and the temperature now in my city is 8 degrees Celsius and 12 degrees Celsius. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Anne. And Saha, what is the temperature in your city and country? Well done. Thank you very much, Saha. All right, and then Ivan, what do you say? What's the temperature like in your country at the moment, or in your city or town? That's interesting. Here in South Africa, it's about 25 degrees Celsius, and the sun is shining. There is a few clouds in the air because we are in our rain season here. So we are currently in our rain season, so it's raining quite a lot, and there are a lot of clouds in the air. But at the moment, it's very sunny and it's pleasant weather. There is almost no wind blowing, and it's really nice weather. South Africa has a very sunny climate. There is no real extreme temperatures in South Africa. We have a very pleasant weather or seasons in our country. All right. So who has not yet had a chance? Sasha, what is the temperature in your city? All right, so let's answer the question then. What kind of weather do you like? All right, so what kind of weather do you like in your country? All right, so I like sunny weather. I actually, me myself, I like cloudy weather. I love thunderstorms and lightning. I love that. Here in South Africa, you get quite a lot. Here in Africa, especially with our wide open spaces, you have quite a lot of thunderstorms, and you can actually see the thunderstorms coming over the horizon. And I visited my grandmother and father when I was still a little boy in the desert quite often, and there you would see, because my grandmother and father they owned a farm in the Kalahari Desert. So let me write this down for you so that you can see. Kalahari Desert, all right? They had a farm in the Kalahari Desert. You can go and Google it, and you can go and see the beautiful pictures, all right? So we would be able to see the clouds coming on the horizon. You would see these big thunder clouds big blue clouds, blue and white clouds, and then you would obviously then see the thunderstorm, and all of a sudden it would start raining. It's amazing. And then you would see the flowers afterwards blooming in the desert. It's awesome. All right. So Anne, did you have any questions?
Sorry, I have no questions. Thanks.
Okay. So what kind of weather do you like? I like thunderstorms. I like thunderstorms in deserts, most of all when the rain is coming down. What do you like? Oh, another thing as well, you should come and visit Africa. The rain in Africa smells much different than the rain anywhere else in the world. And I've traveled to many places before, but African rain, the moment it falls on our ground, the soil, it has an amazing smell. There's nothing like African rain. And what do you say? What kind of weather do you like? Please talk to us.
And I also like sunny weather, but I think I like the cold days. And
I also like cold days. I like winter when it's not too cold and you can actually sit inside in front of one of these big fireplaces where you have wood burning and a good conversation. And also when you are with your friends. But winter is not nice if you are not inside and you need to stand outside in the cold. So I like winter because of the snuggliness. It's that's pleasant. Ivan, what do you say? What kind of weather do you like? Thank you very much, Ivan. I apologize for that short silence. Ivan, you can also say, I think nature does not have bad weather. All right? Instead of just saying, I think nature have no bad weather, you can also say, I think nature does not have. So please make sure of your tenses over there. All right. Just you did well. Obviously, what you said is it can be used, but it just sounds better if you say, I think nature does not have bad weather, because that makes it a firmer statement to everyone. Sahar, what kind of weather do you like? Thank you very much, Sahar. I can imagine that you don't really see much cold weather there in your country. Sahar, am I right, or does it get cold there in Saudi Arabia? Does it get cold there? Sure. Okay, so I apologize. Thank you, Sahar, for helping me out there. I never knew that it can get that cold in Saudi Arabia. All right. I think most of the time we or the world just sees the warm temperatures in Saudi Arabia, and they are actually under the impression that you have that warm weather all year around. And that's the idea. Sasha, what kind of weather do you like? All right. So let's move on, class. What's the weather going to be in your country? All right. Is it going to be rainy, true, or false? It's going to be rainy, true or false. And is this true or false with you? And tell me why.
And I think it's false, because rainy is an adjective, and should be added words. Thanks.
All right, you can say rainy because in this respect, rainy is describing the weather. All right, it's going to be rainy. All right, it is going to be rainy. So it is it is describing the state. It's describing the state of being. So you would be able to say it like that. All right. So Ivan, it's going to be cloudy. Is that true or false? All right. So you are expecting cloudy weather. That sounds really interesting, Ivan. All right. And it's going to be hot. Sahar, is that true or false? Thank you very much, Sahar. All right. And then it's going to be cold. And is that true or is it false?
And it's true. Maybe. Thanks.
All right, well done. And Ivan, it's going to be around 40 degrees Celsius. Is that true or false, Ivan? Well done. Thank you very much. All right, here in South Africa, it is about 25 degrees Celsius. So that's that. You can just imagine how warm 40 degrees Celsius would be. That is really very hot. And if you are outside in the scorching sun, and especially during in the middle of the day, you will probably get burned, or you will have burn. All right, so let's look at the next slide now. And now I want you, class, to quickly pay attention while I am discussing this so that you know what to do during your discussion. First of all, I would like you to divide into a group there. So Anne, may I ask you to be student A, please? Would that be all right with you?
Okay, I want to ask Sasha.
Before you begin, Anne, may I ask Sahar to be student B, please? Sahar, may I ask you to be student B? All right. So, Anne, I just quickly want to discuss something with you, and then you can start. All right. I like your enthusiasm, and I like your commitment to the class. So please stay the way you are. I just quickly want to discuss something, and then I'm going to give over to you. I like your attitude. That's really good. All right. So first of all, when we talk about the weather, what do we talk about? All right. When we talk about the weather, we talk about your city or your country. Okay, we talk about seasons. So we talk about your summer or your winter or your spring, as well as your autumn. And please remember that the Americans, when they talk about autumn, they refer to it as fall. Right, the fall. Then we are also going to talk about the elements. So we will talk about, is it snowing? We'll talk about rain. We'll talk about hail. We'll talk about mist. We'll talk about, what else is there? We'll talk about thunder and lightning, my favorite. We'll talk about, what else is there to talk about? Yes, okay. And then we'll talk about catastrophes. Catastrophe, or natural disasters. Let me just spell it right. Disasters. We can talk about that. We can also talk about the effect that our climate and weather has on people. And then we can also say the effect, not affect, the effect that weather has on our farms, so that's our food. All right, so that's a very important thing to take into account. All right, so without any further ado, and please take it away and start the conversation for us.
And hello, Sahar. What is the weather like? No, what will be the weather like in your city tomorrow? Thanks.
Please continue, Anne. And you can use these pointers that I gave you in the notepad to talk to Sahar.
Okay, Sahar, can you repeat your answers again? Thanks.
All right, Sahar, she is asking you. All right. So where is Anne now? All right. So Sahar, let's talk about your weather. Okay. So first of all, what city are you living in at the moment, Sahar? And how is the weather like in Riyadh? Please tell me, especially, for example, give me an idea of when your winter is and when your summer is. So you can tell me from January to April we have our summer. Would you like to tell me when you have your seasons in the city? All right, so what is the lowest that the temperature drops? What is the coldest that you've ever experienced, Saudi Arabia, Sahar? What is the coldest? So how cold can it get in Sahar? Degrees Celsius. So Sahar, how cold can it get in Saudi Arabia? That is really cold, you are right. And what is the warmest, what is the hottest that you've ever experienced? That's really insane, isn't it? That's really hot. Wow, Sahar, that's really hot indeed. All right. So, and tell me, have you ever seen snow, Sahar? Have you ever seen a place snow? Wow, that's really interesting, Sahar. And do you have thunderstorms and lightning there as well? Okay, so you don't know how a thunderstorm looks. You've probably seen it on television before. All right, thank you, Sahar. It was an absolute privilege and a pleasure to spend time with you today, Sahar. And Sasha, I hope that next time, Sasha, you will also participate in class. I think that it is great fun to participate in class, and by talking the English language, you become better at it every day. All right, so today we discussed what is the weather like in your country. That's what we talked about. Ask your classmates, what kind of weather do you like? And what's the weather going to be tomorrow? And what about the temperature? All right, so think about these things. All right, so think about these things. And now we have come to the end of our class, unfortunately. But it was an absolute privilege and a pleasure to teach you, Sahar and Sasha. I hope that you enjoyed the class as much as I did. I would like to applaud you on a great class. I really enjoyed your participation and talking to you, and I thought, Sahar, that you did very well in speaking the English language. You most of the time you spoke flawless English, and I specifically listened to your vocabulary. I also listened to the way in which you speak. Do you speak with emotion or not? And also what your sentence construction is and your verb use. And I heard more than once that you actually correct yourself, and that's really good. That's really good. So it means that you already know what is right and what is wrong. So that is really good. Alright, so I am going to send through your grading within the next few hours, and then I will give you more advice on how to speak better English. But you are already speaking very well, and I am really encouraging you to feel proud of your progress. Alright, so I would like to invite you as well to email me if you have any questions. Your email address is my email address is jack.christihan@etteachers.com. With that said, I'm also releasing the slides so that you can have a look at it at your own time and pace. And please remember to fill out the conversation class survey to tell English Town about your experience. Please remember that overall impression of the lesson and teacher quality are about me, Jack, and my teaching. I hope I was excellent. If you would like to give me some advice to be excellent next time, please fill out the comment box at the end of the survey. All right, Sahar and Sasha, keep well. I hope to see you again very soon in my class, but until then, keep well and have a great week ahead of you. Goodbye. Goodbye, Sahar and Sasha.